So that's called seller mode. So all these are dynamic funnels, right? We've got standard dynamic registration PPC. It's about 12 questions. It's a really good quality lead. Then we added the seller mode, getting seller information. And again, it's interesting. We're getting seller information under the heading of, do you want to use it to buy? And that's the concept here, is we're asking, whoever asked the questions is leading the conversation. And so we changed basically the way we were asking questions so the person would value it. So this webinar is on something called Direct Connect.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome to this amazing, webinar that we have here, Ylopo. I love Ylopo. I've used Ylopo for years and years. So many of you have asked me, hey, where was your success started with? Well, guess what? I am introducing him to you guys, my coach, my professor at Ylopo, Mr. Barry Jenkins. Thank you so much, Barry, for actually doing this for us. I want to learn as much from you as I did from day one when I started and I was about to quit Ylopo. But because of you, here we are, so many ROIs later. So thank you for everything that you've taught me, Professor Barry Jenkins. And Ylopo and lead conversions and lead generation. So take it away, Barry. Tell us a little bit more about this new feature that we have, Direct Connect.
Yeah, absolutely. So with Google Ads, they've been pretty much the same for more or less for like 10 to 15 years for real estate. Essentially, it used to be a trade. That worked really well, right? So someone goes to Google and they say, homes for sale in XYZ city, and they see links for their search. They click one of the links. Maybe I should share my screen and
that would be awesome.
Yeah, that way. So you say homes for sale in Virginia Beach. And, I'm not trying to pick on anybody. Let's just click on somebody's link. I feel weird. I don't want to pick on anybody. So they click on the link and then a box pops up, right? It says, give me your name, email, phone number. And then after they register, then you allow them to see homes.
Right.
It used to work really well because we were kind of gatekeepers of information. Well, that's changed, right? You can go to Zillow, Realtor.com, Redfin, all these other websites where the person doesn't have to register. So, when you, that's funny, some folks want to be picked on, but the consumer doesn't really value access to the listings anymore because they can get it for free. So it's not that doesn't work at all. It means it doesn't work as well. And so the cost of those leads has gone up. In my market in 2017, when I would do those homes for sale ads and a box pops up that says you have to register, they were costing me about $20 to $22 a piece. Zillow at the time, was running a lot of the same advertisements and it was driving the cost up. So what we did is we took some technology that it's a funnel. Okay. So now when the person lands on our website, instead of seeing, give me your name and email and I will give you access to the listings, we've changed the entire conversation. And so G comes to me and he says, Barry, what can we be doing to help buyers and sellers enjoy registering on our users' websites? So we created dynamic funnels and we call it dynamic registration. The idea is when the lead responds to the questions we ask them, the form adapts to their answers. So if they say that they want to rent, and if you don't do rentals, that's a different funnel. If you say, I want to rent, and you do offer rentals in your market, it takes you down a different pathway, right? If you want to sell, it takes you down one. If you don't want to sell, it takes you down another. And what we found as we began to play with this is that the consumer really values a profile to where they're investing in answering these questions to tailor the result. They really want to see specifically something, maybe a certain price range, certain, exterior features, maybe mountains or having a pool. And so it was really interesting because we got to the point that we were asking 13 questions. Now, remember, name, email, and phone number is 3 questions. And that's what we always used to do. And that would get us around $20 to $22 a lead. Well, now we're asking 13 questions. You would think, because that's called a long form lead.
Right.
You would think that that would make it even more expensive, but actually the exact opposite happened.
Okay.
Cost per lead got cut in half.
Oh, wow.
And so now we were between $10 to $12 a lead for 12 questions. And it's because more people valued the conversation and the questions we're asking. So then we said, well, what else can we do? And we switched it over to focusing on sellers. And 11% of our buyer leads were answering the question, yes, they have a home to sell before they buy. And then they gave us their home address. I went to G and I said, hey, sellers don't really want to talk about selling. They want to talk about where they're moving. That's what's exciting. Selling is stressful. Right. Can we ask another question? So the 89% of leads that said, no, I do not need to sell before I buy, we asked a follow-up question. The follow-up question was, do you want to use the equity from the sale of your home to purchase your next home? The answers were either yes, or I don't own my home. It jumped from 11% to 37% of our buyer leads from Google were saying, yes, I do want to use the equity from the sale of my home. Here is my address. So that's called seller mode. So all these are dynamic funnels, right? We've got standard dynamic registration PPC. It's about 12 questions. It's a really good quality lead. Then we added the seller mode, getting seller information. And again, it's interesting. We're getting seller information under the heading of, do you want to use it to buy? And that's the concept here is we're asking, whoever asked the questions is leading the conversation. And so we changed basically the way we were asking questions so the person would value it. So right. This webinar is on something called Direct Connect.
Exactly.
It's still dynamic registration. But now, instead of asking 12 questions or 14 questions, we're asking 22 to 24 questions. So we doubled the number of questions we were asking. What we decided we wanted to do, and the reason why this is important for everybody, is we wanted to see how far we could push the envelope and get them as close to a Zillow or a Realtor.com lead as possible. And one of the things we know about Zillow is you go to a real estate website, you look at listings, you pick one out, and you say, I like that one based on whatever my criteria is. Can someone call me? And you can be transactional in how you handle that conversation. So what we do with these 24 to 23 questions is we obsessively, and when I say obsessively, I mean obsessively, bring up the fact that we're going to be calling them soon.
Okay.
Get them to buy into the fact that we're going to be calling them. And one of the questions actually goes so far in Direct Connect to say, we're going to call you in the next hour. The answers are yes, I'm excited about it, or no, not right now. Okay. Right. And so by emphasizing the fact that we're going to be calling, it speeds up the conversation that you're going to have. Now, what this is someone that wants to talk to an agent. What it's not is a bottom of funnel lead. And I think this is where the subtle nuance of why, and it's why I went over all these different types of funnels with you, Janky, because I think sometimes people get confused with all these names of Ylopo. It's still a lead from Google.
Right.
But we repurposed and changed the way we were asking the questions based off of the assumption that this is someone that really is excited about talking to an agent. But you still have to take someone that went to Google, isn't quite sure what they want, and you have to monetize that, right? You have to take someone that says, yeah, I'm not quite ready for an agent. I'm not quite sure what I want, but I'm glad you answered my questions. You have to learn how to take that person and turn it into business. And so what I want to do is I'm going to share my screen and show you a lead that my team just got.
And so this is basically funneling them deeper and deeper and deeper in order to ask key questions. There you go. Okay, got it.
Yep. So we get them to verify their phone number. We say, hey, do you want us to verify that you're giving us the right number via text message? Or do you want us to verify that you're giving us the right number via a phone call? The reason why we did that, people don't normally put in a wrong number if they know they have to do something afterwards. So there's a psychology behind that. We said, do you want us to call within the next hour? They said yes. And what happens when they say yes? Looking at my tags here, this is follow-up, boss. You see here where it says call _ now equals yes. So this is one of the questions that we ask them. And so we call about your homes equals yes. And so we created a smart list looking for that tag. So let me go back. All right. So call now equals yes. They're looking for a primary home, not a rental. They want to buy within the next 3 months. They have not hired an agent. They're curious about all listings. They want to see listings. They do want us to call about their home. So notice we said call now, but before we ask them if you want us to call now, we say, would you like a phone call about your search? If they say yes to that, we say, would you like us to call now? And this person said yes.
So this is all direct connect, Barry. Am I understanding this correctly?
That's exactly right. It's direct connect.
Huh, okay.
So, and if you look, all these data points are questions. Look how many, what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So this particular funnel, when they said they wanted a call now, we end the funnel. We're like, okay, they want a phone call. And we give you, so the idea here is to get them to the point where we've brought up the desire to talk. So here's another way we bring it up. We think you'd be a good candidate to talk about your search. And they have not right now or great, I'm looking forward to our call. So you see the answers of Direct Connect play into this tee up of somebody that wants to talk right now. They tell us what their income is, if this is their first purchase, do they have a foreclosure, how many bedrooms, learn more to speak to a consultant. They said they did want to speak to a consultant. So again, this theme of wanting to talk, you can see it now in these answers. We obsessively, do you want to learn more from a consultant? Yes. Would you like us to call about this? Great. Looking forward to our call. Would you like us to call in the next hour? Yes. Would you like to verify your phone number via text message or via a phone call, right? And they said verify. So it's all about directly connecting to the lead so that you can speak to them about their search. And then we teed this up about their loan because they said they were pre-approved. We're trying to help you and your lender partners to get more loan apps. So we asked, do you want a second opinion? If they said no, they're not pre-approved, we asked them, would you like to speak to a lender? And if they say yes, we add a tag to the lead that says call about pre-approval equals yes. And so our lender partner has a list of all the leads that said, yeah, I either want to get pre-approved or yeah, I want a second opinion about the mortgage approval that I have. So by doubling the questions, the cost per lead goes up. Now it's between 20 and 25. But if you go back to my story about the kind of the history of where we were coming from, that's what I was paying for name, email, and phone number.
Right,
And now
exactly.
I've got somebody that is teeing up the conversation. But the thing I'll say about this, Jenki, and we were talking a little bit about this before, just because the funnel is speeding up the conversation, it doesn't mean that the agent or the salesperson taking that lead is going to turn it into business.
Exactly.
And so what I love about what Ylopo's done is it's kind of like if you go to an ice cream store, everybody has ice cream, but different stores have different flavors. And what we've done is we've created different flavors from Google so that you can pick what's best for your business. And everybody's kind of in a different set of circumstances. And so we really wanted to empower users of Ylopo to be able to, make sure that they get what they need. So we do have a question. Did you have a question so far, Jenki?
Well, not a question, but I wanted to kind of emphasize this too. Ylopo started with social and Google PPC, but and then LSA and all of that good stuff. But this is a leg up with Google PPC. Direct Connect is Google PPC, correct?
Yes,
Those
it is.
do come from the Google side of the business.
That's correct. That's correct. Now we do have dynamic registration, that funnel for leads from Facebook as well. And
Right.
it's kind of created an interesting dilemma because you can get a PPC lead in my market from Ylopo for like $10 to $12. You're going to get, 12-ish questions answered. But you can get a lead from Facebook with 12 questions answered for like $8. So it used to be, there was a bigger spread on Facebook. But as Facebook has changed targeting, as Facebook has changed, what information we're not allowed to get the home address anymore. There's just been a lot of changes to how defined the advertisements can be. Whereas Google, we're still able to get defined based off of search phrases and where the person is when they do the search. Based off of the IP address.
Yeah, and this is the part I didn't know. So I'm so glad I'm doing this with you because I didn't know that Facebook social ads did remove all of this, right? So spending more budget on the Google PPC is more advisable and recommended, to get you those leads that are funneled in very deeply in terms of asking questions before the lead even comes to you, the lead comes into your CRM, right?
Yeah. So, what I'll say to that is you can make a pretty big assumption that someone who is going to Google and typing in homes for sale in Virginia Beach, they at least know where they want to live or where they're considering to live. And so you can make an assumption that they're in the phase of their journey where they are starting to figure it out. With Facebook, so there's intention because they're typing it. With Facebook, that's called disruptive marketing, right? People go look at their news feed to see what their friends and family are doing. They don't go to their news feed to shop for real estate, but then we put a house in front of them that they like, they click it, and then we take them down the pathway. So it's not necessarily a right or wrong, but historically speaking, people tend to really like PPC, no doubt about it.
I was one of those oddballs in Ylopo that really liked Facebook socials way back when, Barry, years ago, because I saw more results there, right? But now I'm seeing more results through the Google PPC, and I love it because I'm seeing more results in the Google PPC LSA side. But I really like this direct connect. It gives us more in-depth position to whether the lead does want to talk to you, doesn't want to talk to you. And here's a question from Trisha. She says, what is the follow-up process to ensure the callback happens within 1 hour?
Yeah, so you create a smart list. One of the reasons why we add the tag call now equals yes is because they, you can create a list that when the lead is looking for that tag, and then you can, at that point, do your follow-up accordingly. But you do have to be aware. Now, another thing you could do is you could, so I'm operating under the assumption that everybody's using Follow Up Boss. So I know that everybody doesn't use Follow Up Boss.
So here's a question we can ask. Those of you that have Follow Up Boss, please text us in the group chat that you do have Follow Up Boss.
So Follow Up Boss has a section in it called automations. So
Okay.
what I'm going to do is just give you an example of a really good follow-up process, and you can do it in other CRMs. I just don't have that as an example. So I'm going to make the trigger of this automation and Follow Up Boss off of when the tag is added. And I'm going to say call now equals yes. So now Follow Up Boss is going to say anytime this tag is added, I'm going to do something. Well, what am I going to do? I can add conditions. I could say only do it if the lead is in specific zip codes, specific lead sources, if it's in a pond, if we haven't tried to reach them yet. So like, for example, I could say only do what we're about to do if call made is less than 1. So if there's no calls made and they said call now equals yes, we're going to do something. Well, we could reassign the lead to maybe the ISA team. See, I've got an ISA group within my office where all my ISAs are going to get the lead assigned. I have a pond that my ISAs work out of called the Shark Tank. I could reassign the lead to the Shark Tank if I wanted. Or I could say, I'm going to add a note and I'm going to notify the assigned agent and my ISAs that this person wants a call. This person asked for a call now.
And Jake, I agree with you. That's a great pond name too. Shark
What's that? Oh, Shark Tank. Yeah. And you can merge fields in the note. You can get nerdy. I do this sometimes, So then I hit done, and actually, you know what? I think I'm going to keep this automation. So I'm going to say call now automation.
So you can set your automations in Facebook in Follow Up Boss.
Follow Up Boss. Yes.
And it just, okay.
And I can also do action plans. So I can do an action plan that I create. So an example would be, and I don't mean for this to be a commercial for Follow Up Boss, but one of the things we found is that because we're giving our users so much information, like data points that we're turning into tags, it gives you the ability to really streamline what it is you want to do. So I'm going to create a new action plan just to further, so hit plus sign. And here's everything I can do in an action plan. I can create a task, send an email, change a stage, add a note, add tags, remove tags, all that stuff. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a task that says call now requested. And we're going to make it a call task, and we're going to make it the assigned agent, right?
Right.
And I'm going to put call now task for the action plan. So then I'm going to come back over to my automations, and I'm going to hit plus sign, action plan, call now task.
Awesome.
And so now the assigned agent is going to get a call now task. The assigned agent and the ISA team are going to get a note with a notification that says, as long as we haven't already called, they asked for a call right now. And then I'm going to enable it. So for those that use Follow Up Boss, I am going to share this automation right now with you guys. And I'm going to put it in the chat, and it'll come with the action plan. So
while Barry is doing that, I just want to let everyone know that Ylopo is currently offering $500 off their setup fee costs exclusively right here. So guys, there's a link right there in the chat box. Click on it. Like I said, Barry, I've used Ylopo for so long, and I've seen it build out so awesome in terms of, different types of where different types of platforms within Ylopo, like, you have your Facebook ads, you have your social PPC, you have LSA, and now you have Direct Connect. And the fact that Direct Connect asks almost like what, how many, 12, 24,
22,
22
24 questions.
questions. That's almost taken away you talking to them, asking them those questions, right? Because before, that's what we used to do: pick up the phone, dial, and ask them all these questions. But they're already answered for you.
Yep.
That's the best part about this. This is so
Well, and when we launched Direct Connect, to your point, Janky, so I wrote all of the text messages for Raya. That's Ylopo's AI. Now, Ylopo's AI is different than every other AI out there because Ylopo's AI includes IDX behavior. So if they're looking in Virginia Beach for a $300,000 home, our AI is actually going to send text messages that say, hey, this is Barry's assistant. He asked me to send you some listings in Virginia Beach that might work for you. And it has a link and the lead clicks it and logs in. Or if it's a seller, it'll say, hey, this is Barry's assistant. There are 22 people looking for a home like yours right now in his database. If you'd like us to talk more about it, let us know. And that's a real number. Like Ylopo's scanning your database and sending an AI text message. So I say that because with Direct Connect, when we look at every person in America that is buying Ylopo Direct Connect leads, Raya is getting a response 51% of the time. The AI engineers, so we have like geniuses that work in other countries that we've hired to work solely for Ylopo. And like when I talk to them, I don't know like the words they're using, like half of what they're saying, because they're like those like, like oddly smart people, but they're AI engineers. And they told us that the industry has never seen a computer get engagement like this. Now, 51 out of 100 leads respond to Raya when it's a Direct Connect lead, but that includes the people that say, leave me alone, stop, I hate you, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Of the 51 out of 100 leads that respond, Raya converts to an appointment. So she has a full-on conversation, 13% of them. So that's about 5 or 6.
Yeah.
So let's get this straight. Out of 100 Direct Connect leads, if they're $20 a piece, that's $2,000, right? 100 leads times $20 is $2,000. And out of those, AI is going to convert 5 to 6 and tee up an appointment for you. I don't know about you, but in my market, if I can get 6 appointments with $2,000 all day long.
All day long, exactly. And I'm telling you, Raya is doing this for us, right? Barry, because my director of ops went in and looked at year to date, the rate of investment for Ylopo. What does that look like? And we had Direct Connect, and then we switched off to Google PPC. And now I'm reconsidering that too, because when we had those questions, I think we only had 5 or 7, but it seems like now you guys have put in more questions to it.
Well, yeah, I mean, we have had thousands of iterations on the way that we're asking the questions.
Yeah.
Psychologically, it's been just fascinating the way that someone responds to just a subtle shift. The seller mode is an example. We went from, do you need to sell before you buy? 89% said no.
Right.
And then I went to G and said, hey, ask them a buying question that includes selling. And it jumped significantly. Another thing we found is that there's a point in the flow that if they get to a certain point in our funnel, the number of percentage of leads that answer all the questions is like 100%. So if we get them to a certain point, they've so bought into what we're doing that they're just going to keep answering the questions. And we continue to iterate on this, by the way. Like we're not done. Yeah, because, and this is the thing I think people struggle with that are they're real estate agents and they're buying leads. Marketing is all about getting the consumer's attention. But I think we all can agree Like there was a period of time that every time a Geico commercial came on, I laughed.
Yeah.
Okay. Like it was funny, right? And then Liberty Mutual also tried to do the same funny thing, standing in front of like the Statue of Liberty, and like they're trying to be funny too.
Yes, I remember that
Yeah.
commercial.
Well, and now it's not that they're not good commercials. They're just not funny to me anymore. Like the whole "so easy a caveman could do it." It got old. And eventually Geico stopped running that marketing because people, it was funny for a while, but now it's not. Just like the music that you used to listen to last
Right,
summer, those
right.
songs, you've heard them,
So you
right?
always want to keep your marketing fresh,
Right.
always. And that's
Right.
what you're trying to get to, is that we keep our content and our marketing fresh all the time at Ylopo, which I have seen, which you know, I can admit that I've seen that. So I think that is really awesome, Barry, that the fact that you guys continue to add on, Professor, that you
Yeah.
continue to add on and you're seeing the results from it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And what Ylopo decided we would do back in 2016 was we would just be a marketing company, right? We would just, we wouldn't be a CRM. And everybody said, you're making things more difficult. It's easier if it's an all-in-one. And you know what? It is. It is easier if it's an all-in-one. But what I'll tell you is if you want to stay ahead of what is interesting to the consumer, it is demanding. And so 80% of Ylopo's engineers are dedicated to innovation and marketing. 20% of our engineers are dedicated to integrating with other people's CRMs. Whereas everybody else, half of their engineers are devoted to the CRM, the other half are devoted to coming up with new ideas, and they have to service and balance all of that. The wisdom of our decision, you didn't really see in 2017, but once we hit 2018, we just began to outpace everybody on the whole innovation as far as what's available.
And I think that is genius, because if you're stale in the market, your product is not going to work anymore, whether that be real estate, marketing, whatever it is, right? So I think always having that fresh content. Sharon has a question here. She says, so now are there 25 people calling this lead?
Sharon, you always ask such good questions. I know, Sharon. I don't understand this question, but I will tell you that we do understand the pain point of needing to call these leads, and you're doing something else.
Right.
So Raya, it's in beta, but it's called Raya Live, and essentially for direct connect leads. If someone says, I don't have an ISA, like, Janky, I know that you train ISAs and you've got a full ISA department. Not everybody has that. And so we are starting to, I've been training our ISA division for Raya Live for probably 90 days.
Okay.
And the ISA team for Raya Live will call the lead and try to set an appointment. I just began testing it this week for, it's not even alpha testing. It's like hot mess testing. That's that I get to use it when it's like barely working. And then by the time it gets working better, then we go to beta and other people test it. But that's part of my gig.
Let me know if you need any help there, Barry. I'll be more than happy to help you out there.
All right. Yeah, we will. We will. Reach out.
Send them over.
Oh, wow. So yeah, Sharon says this is a game changer. The quality of leads or people are so much better. It is such an easier call. I recommend using the phrase profile in your follow-up, because that's what I have Raya doing. Raya actually says, thank you for creating your search profile. We wanted to speak with you about some of those details. When is a good time to speak with you? We've really set the expectation. They've created something that's valuable to them. And I want you guys to run with that when you're doing your follow-up. You don't need to read through every data point that they listed. You just need to mention a few things so that you can be relevant, right? Okay, hey, Janky, this is Barry, Better Homes and Gardens. I see that you've created your profile. Looks like you're looking for a $800,000 home on the water. That's so exciting. How did you decide that that's what you wanted? and then just enjoy it. Do your thing, talk to them. And, what I'll say to those that, if anybody is listening and you haven't had good luck converting leads from Google, what you have to do is you have to ask enough questions to surface fear or ignorance or confusion. And as soon as you hear something that doesn't sound quite right, that is your moment to become valuable. So this helps you to avoid calling and saying, what kind of house do you want?
Exactly.
Or have you been pre-approved? To where it's just like, would you like fries with that? Did you want to water with your lemon? It's transactional.
Yeah, it's more
Instead of consultative. Yes, exactly.
Instead of building a relationship, you're just an order taker at that point.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
That's something you should not focus on as realtors. When they set the phone appointments, a realtor's like, well, this is not converting. Well, what kind of questions as a realtor are you asking? Sometimes I feel like us realtors need the training more than our ISAs, right? Because the question you're asking is not exactly, relevant anymore, right? I mean, you got to build that relationship.
Right. And I just put in the chat. So my book is actually sold over 8,000 copies. I'm not even, I guess this is considered advertising, but I'm not like, I don't have a media team behind me. But the whole book, the whole purpose of it is to help people convert middle of funnel leads. And I'll tell you, my opportunity costs continues to go down because I'm not focused on only people that are transaction ready. I'm focused on that middle of the funnel that other teams don't understand and don't know how to do it. And my opportunity cost keeps going down. And that's why I have such high ROI.
That's awesome. And I have bought your book. I haven't opened it yet, but that's going to be my reading for the next month, because during the holidays, I do want to get into it and actually dig into it and apply it next year.
Sure. Yeah. It's a 2-hour read, Janky, and it's just a bunch of stories. It's not, I know realtors, it's hard for us to sit down and read. So I knew if I made it longer than a 2-hour read, or 2-hour audible as well, that it wouldn't go over real well.
And see, there you go, Barry. Your book is amazing, Barry. See, I'm on my second read. That's awesome.
Oh, wow. That's tremendous. Yeah. Thank you.
Leaders like you and Tristan and, certain people in our real estate community, it's so inspiring what you guys bring to us, and like I said, Professor Barry was one of the reasons I stuck around with Ylopo, and here I am today,
You're crushing it.
and I am doing great in our market, and I have built out other companies, but the whole point is because of you guys being so inspirational. So I really want to thank you, Barry, for being, the professor that you are with Ylopo, and you're constantly thinking, I know that, what kind of questions do I need to put with RIA? Hey, let's talk to G about this. And you're so awesome at that. So thank you for, bringing us that info.
What's interesting, Janky, thank you for that, by the way, but what's happened with Ylopo, we also I've got Gabe, right? So he's the other realtor in residence with me. We were in a meeting yesterday for another product Ylopo is working on called Maverick, and the engineers kind of had their way of that they were going to do it. And Gabe and I looked at it and we were like, I would not use this. You guys have missed it. They trashed it. And they said, you guys tell us what we should do.
Right.
That is not normal to have a company of people that have all these degrees, right? To program and to make all this stuff. They're going to listen to people that we on paper should not be able to do that. We should not be able to be helping to run, this massive technology company, but they're listening to their customers and they're adapting.
But here's something to say about it. You're boots on the ground, Barry. Your team is boots on the ground. That's why when you are a realtor and you start other companies, it is so important that you continue being boots on the ground, because you will be able to know the market and to know what needs to be applied. And that's what the engineers needed, right? To hear from you, hey, what's going on out there? Tell us a little bit about, give us some sort of direction, and they take it and they run with it. That's exactly right. Exactly. So Corey, yes, this is being recorded. I don't know You can view it on our YouTube channel, LCA's YouTube channel. But Barry, I think we're right around the corner of saying goodbye. See you next, not goodbye. See you next time. Because
Yes.
I love being on Ylopo calls because I always get notes written down, Barry, and
Oh, wow.
I apply it to our Ylopo team. So thank you
Oh,
so
that's
much,
great.
Barry.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Um,
That was too fast. Yeah, Sharon, it's too fast. I'm so sorry. But next time, Barry is going to be.
yes. All right. Well, you guys
great.
have a great rest of your day and keep working hard. Thanks,
Thank
everybody.
you. Talk
All
soon.
right.
Bye, Barry.
All right. Bye-bye.